it is so good to be back. And let me just say, I am so grateful to you all. I had such a day yesterday. It was after 3 hours of sleep the night before, and about the same the night before that. I get up at 5 in the morning, and City on a Hill TV. Diana drove all the way from Dothan, Alabama, down to Tallahassee, a 2.5-hour drive. Picked me up, and then we went to Enterprise, and we got out all of our gear, and we just we had a good time. So I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed. I can't show you anything yet because basically when I got in last night, it was about 7 or so, and by 8 o'clock I was in bed. I was absolutely exhausted. I had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning, work all day. But let me try to share with you some of the experiences that we had. I was, to be honest, I would give the whole thing about a C- or a D+ at the time. We're improving upon that all the time. I'm going to turn this dadgum monitor off. It's glaring on the ocular enhancement device. Okay, so we get there and we set up. All the gear did come in. Now, I don't think I shared with you. Yeah, I did. I showed you all that stuff. It all came in, but that was hectic. So we get up there, and I set up the parabolic mic, and I set up the camera, and I begin using I'm using this camera for the very first time. I literally don't know what I'm doing. I'm not familiar with it at all, and I'm not an experienced videographer. And so I take some shots, and then the speakers come up, and so I shot the whole thing wide from the back of the room, and the parabolic mic did not perform to my expectations, but not because of its design, but because of the scenario. We were at a country club, and the room was air conditioned, and that microphone is so good it picked up the air conditioning quite well. And the public address system that they were using was not turned up very loud, so you're limited by the sound you get. So that was not good. And of course I'm watching the little meters, the volume meters bouncing up and down, but of course what's really causing that is the air from the air conditioning more than the modulation of the speaker itself. So I'm going to turn this back on in case y'all have some chat questions or comments. And of course, none of this is known until you get back and try to produce it. So afterwards, we did some sit-down interviews. So now we had tested the dual lapel mic recording to an iPhone gadget in the car on the way up there, and it worked fine. Now the only problem is the road noise. It picked up more road noise than anything else, but that's okay. I understand. So we get there, and I try to hook up my mic, and I think my phone has blown up. It's simply not working. And my phone, not only that, my phone doesn't work anymore. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've blown up my phone. And there is some ways that you can blow a phone up using this mic if you don't get the right adapters, and a TRRS versus a TRS. I won't go into the details. I will spare you that. But I thought, oh my gosh, so now I can only use my phone to text message. By the way, I turned my phone off and back on. Everything's fine. I retested the dual microphones using both mics and by the way, I like my new headgear. Got a little blue, blue headgear. So I had some like $5 ones, and they were pretty bad. These are like $20. 4 times as good. So we couldn't use those. So I took my camera, put it back on the tripod, went out to the lobby of the country club where there's some nice background, and people were getting in front of the camera holding the microphone. Now the cord that was supplied with the microphone was 6 feet long, plenty long enough to go from the parabolic mic over to the camera, because they sit on 2 separate tripods. Okay, But it wasn't long enough to do an interview, but we used it. It turned out, well, okay. I haven't produced it yet. Now, wouldn't you know, dumb camera operator here. I'm sitting there recording, or I thought I was recording. I pressed the button. What I really did is stopped recording on a couple of the interviews. You got to look for the red dot. There's a red dot, green dot. Red means you're recording. Green means you're not. Green means go. I don't know. Okay. Just stupid first game mistakes. And but I'll be okay on that next time. But we did get some interviews. Some of them went okay. So then, oh, by the way, the recording mode, the camera has multiple recording modes, and MPEG-4 is what we all use. I mean, the YouTube videos that we're seeing are almost likely produced as MP4. And since that's the native format, I had set the camera up for MP4. Then I found out in order to adjust the audio, you cannot adjust the audio MP4. So I changed it to its native format, ADH something. I don't know. It's something. But anyway, I thought, well, fine. I'll just use that. Okay. So now I've got the stuff on this chip. Okay. and I don't have any way to read that chip. Yeah, that's right. No way to read the chip. So we stopped at Walmart on the way up there to get an extra tripod. I only had one. And while I was at Walmart, I got another chip reader, or a little SD card reader. It was only $10, USB, plug and play. So I plugged it into my laptop, started looking around for the videos, and couldn't find it. Couldn't find them. And now the camera showed them. Like, if you put the SD card back in the camera sees them, but my laptop didn't. And I thought to myself, oh my God, what have I done? I've selected a format that you can only use with a Mac or something like that. Well, later on, when I did get home, I did pop it into my desktop and found out that they have multiple folders, and apparently I skipped over one. And the folder that they put it in is called streaming. Stream. Well, we're not streaming, we're recording. So I skipped over that one. That's where the videos are. So I grabbed my, Camtasia and try to load it into Camtasia. And much to my surprise and disappointment, Camtasia says, no, we can't use that kind of file. You got to have an MP4. I'm like, oh, please. No, no. All right. Well, I do have two video editors. I have another one from Corel. I hardly ever use the Corel. It's almost impossible to work with. It's just too much. I'm familiar with Camtasia. Okay. So I load it up in Corel, and it does load. And I think, oh, whew, good. All right. So then I'm trying to compensate for the poor audio. Remember that air-conditioned room, all the wind noise, that great microphone, the parabolic mic, picks up the wind noise and very little else. And that other video package just really doesn't have an audio editor. Oh, jeez. Now what? All right. So then I used the second video editor to convert it to an MP4 so that I can load it into Camtasia, which has a pretty decent audio editor. The video is some 50 minutes long. Do you know how long it took to convert the video from whatever the camera recorded it in to MP4? Well, about 50 minutes. In fact, it just finished a few minutes ago. But when I haul it into Camtasia, I did some real quick. The audio is poor, but it's still a lot better than if you were just using the camera, which is what has been being used. Okay. Now, so we will be able to produce something from all that, but there's a lot of hoops to jump through. But now I'm of the opinion that what we need is to take a wireless mic and locate it on the podium, co-locate it really, if there's a PA system. So we're going to have to get a boom and a wireless mic. I'm looking into some solutions. Some of them are, well, they're all kind of high, but some of them are much more reasonable than others. So I'm doing some recon that you can take an ordinary mic, plug it into a little there's a little box that sits on the bottom of the mic, and that's the transmitter. And then it transmits wirelessly to the receiver on the camera. So that would be excellent audio, and it doesn't require any cooperation from what they refer to in the business as the talent, the people at the podium. You're not going to mic each one up. And the parabolic mic will have good purposes. It will also, the microphone in it's very good. We can use it for desktop interviews, in a thing like this. Just put it in a stand between the two people. And the parabolic mic, if in an outdoor circumstance, much different. Plus the PA system just outright stunk at this event. It was, the people there could hear it, but a microphone was just picking up the air conditioning noise, basically. So we got the SD card reader. We got all the files converted. I've got work almost all day, every day throughout this week and next. I have no idea when I'm going to get all this done. But in any event, I am somewhat encouraged that we have gone a long ways from what looked like a really a D plus, and we're up in the C plus, maybe even B minus. But we will do much, much, much better next time. This was a scrimmage. This was our first time out. And there was much to learn. Got to get some new cords that are a little bit longer now that I've got the lapel mics working correctly. And whatever happened that time, I turned my phone off, turned it back on, and the sound is working fine. Tested the lapel mics. They're fine. Everything's fine. That was just what we would call, I guess, just bad luck. And so I'm still very enthused that we are on a journey that is a very good one, and I'm excited about it. I wish we would have had more time. I certainly wish we had more money to do some of this with. We are doing with less than $1,000 what other outfits are spending $10,000 to do, and so there's going to be some trade-offs. But better we should have something at some quality. After all, we're broadcasting here on something the size of a postage stamp, you might say. So the video quality isn't all that important. The audio quality is, because the words they're saying is in effect what the message is. So I'm exhausted, but I just want. Last night I was just absolutely at the absolute limit of human endurance. I came in, I went to bed, and I played some of the videos, but I couldn't even. And when I woke up this morning, my eyes were crusted shut. You ever do? I don't know about you, but when I'm overly exhausted, my eyes are all crusted shut. When I wake up in the morning, they're still sore. This one's really sore from being that way. So it's going to be tough, but we're going to recover and mend up, and everything's going to be okay. And you all just keep me inspired, and you all keep me wanting to do more and more and more, because nobody else is doing it. We're going to get it done, and without you, I couldn't get it done. So don't let all this bad report. It's not a great report, but it has not dampened my enthusiasm one iota, and I don't want it to dampen yours either. So we're going to go with it, and that I know there's a lot of technical stuff. Maybe that was a little boring or over your head, but I just wanted to share with you how we're doing, and we're going to do better and better and better. And other people aren't doing anything, so in comparison, we're doing it. So folks, I'm going to turn it back over to Barbara for a while. We'll probably wrap up kind of early tonight, so I can maybe get a little bit, maybe cut something, or at least do a little bit more research and find out what's the next step. So Barbara, take it from here, and we'll see you a little bit later on.